Hey, what's going on, guys? Gamerdude back once again with another episode in our Just the Facts series. Today we are discussing another legendary franchise that has had us on the edge of our seats for the last 15 years. I was first introduced to this series on its third game, which was Hitman Contracts. And to be honest, I absolutely loved it, which at the time was really odd for me because it really wasn't my sort of game at all. So nearly 2 decades later and about 5 or 6 games later, let's get into detail regarding the next installment of this iconic series. So as I mentioned, the first game that got me hooked on this series was Hitman Contracts, mostly due to its iconic mission at the Meat King's party. I mean, that just so hilarious with the fat guy in the bed like, guards, guards. It's just so fucking funny. Anyway, but I just loved the club scene with the music in the background. And although I wasn't very good at the stealth aspect of the game because I was playing the Splinter Cell games as well back then, and I wasn't very good at the stealth aspect there, and I wasn't very good at the stealth in Hitman, but I still rather enjoyed playing it, and I really wanted to see what the rest of the game had to offer and what the previous installments had to offer what the previous installments had to offer as well. So that meant I went out and got Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, Hitman Contracts, Hitman Blood Money, etc, etc, how many of them all there's been since then. But over the years, the games have just gotten better and better, with even more incredible locations, more interesting and ingenuitive ways of killing people, and incredible music tracks to boot. So you can imagine I was quite giddy and excited to hear that another is indeed on the way. And it's not just another DLC for the latest installment of the series. But you see, that's what hits me most. The original games came inclusive with all extra content, including weapons. But with the way the modern world is going today, well, the modern gaming world is going today, Hitman was kind of spoiled with the introduction of paid-for DLCs and mini microtransactions, which does kill the buzz slightly, but still doesn't affect the general gameplay. Anyway, enough rambling from me. Y'all came to hear the facts. So here are some interesting facts regarding the next installment into the Hitman series. So not too long ago, we got Hitman 2. And it was an exceedingly familiar sequel, but it was still a fantastic Hitman game. And any movement from developer IO Interactive is still plenty exciting. But according to a new documentary from NoClip, I think it was, the studio is not only looking at Hitman 3, but a new IP entirely. So usually when developers go for a new IP, it means they're just scrapping any previous scrapping any previous content they may have had planned, and they're just starting again. But it'll still be cool if they continue on from, Hitman, Hitman 2, and etc, etc. But IO Interactive opened a new studio in Sweden earlier this year. At the time, CEO Hakan Abrak, or Abrak, however that's spelled, I don't know, let's just call him Hakan. He said that the addition of the Swedish studio would expand our muscles for creating brand new and exciting endeavours, new universes, and new franchises. So it seems like folks have really settled into the new studio and begun putting those muscles to good use, really. But really, while much of the team is most likely working on the new Hitman content and looking ahead to the third Hitman game, one that other guy says, a Brock or a Brock, whatever, says that it may once again go back to the episodic series, which isn't too bad because it kind of reminds me of the Telltale game series with them going all episodic, but it does kind of kill the whole Hitman vibe, because I loved the original Hitman games, but I loved the fact that they were just mission based. You know, you went into a contract, you killed the guy you were supposed to kill, mission accomplished, get out of there, and then you're on to the next mission. The episodic ones, they were a little bit confusing. They were first introduced when Hitman first graced us on the PS4 on next-gen consoles. And I found it a little bit confusing because you could go do one episode and then you think, well, hang on, where's the second episode? I can't see it. And then you click on it thinking that you've started it, but it takes you back to the first episode. And you're like, oh, right, okay. But still, it's nice to see them going that whole episodic way again and going the whole Telltale Games way again. Because that seems a lot more popular than generally based story content these days. People seem to love the episodic stuff. I mean, I certainly do. So, you know, that's just me. But at least at least there in Copenhagen, they are working on something secret and rather exciting. But the journalist at NoClip, I think his name was Danny. I can't remember his last name, but I think his name was Danny. He says around 37 minutes into the Hitman documentary that they are definitely working on something new. And the Hitman documentary is called The Fall and Rise of Hitman. You can find that on YouTube, I think. So, another quote from Mr. Abrak says, "We are still very much independent." He goes on to say, "We are looking into the future with new things, potentially new IPs that we might be working on. We've created 4 original IPs from scratch, creating new characters and worlds and what is not part of our DNA. We're also looking forward to bringing new stuff as well, apart from growing Hitman into the world." So that's really interesting. You know, to me that tells us that Hitman's going to have now more of a real world vibe to it, instead of just getting a call from the agency saying, go ice this guy, go kill that guy, go do this, go do that. You know, there's probably going to be NPCs around just that don't carry guns. You know, they'd just be normal NPCs. And I don't know, they'll react differently each time. I know they've got that in previous games, but they don't always react. Some of them react quite annoyingly. You know, like I don't know, say you can steal some guy's clothes after you've knocked him out. Some NPCs will just walk straight past you. Maybe this time they're going for a more realistic vibe, where instead of them just walking past you like nothing happened, they will stand at you and confront you, maybe start attacking you. I don't know. I'm just throwing something in there. I don't know. It's that, yeah. Now I hear that back, that sounds a little bit daft. But I'm going to keep it in there because it's funny. So it does indeed sound like Hitman 3 and IO Interactive's mystery IP are still very early in development, possibly even pre-alpha, pre-production. So we probably won't see much of them until 2020 at the earliest, probably just after or just in time for the next generation of consoles to grace us with their presence. However, if Hitman 3 does indeed return to the episodic model that it has going on for the last 2 games, well, for the rebooted last 2 games that is, we may get to play its first episode within the next few years. Because, you know, Telltale Games did that. They did it with Hitman as well. They released one episode and then a couple of months later you get another, etc, etc, etc. So you never know, it could do cross-platform, or we could just end up waiting ages for it. But I can definitely say you had better goddamn believe this new Hitman game is definitely on my list, and I still definitely believe Hitman is one of the best stealth games to play right now. I mean, to be quite honest, I do actually miss the Splinter Cell games. Whatever actually happened to them? You know, Splinter Cell just vanished. Splinter Cell just disappeared. You know, Hitman carried on. Hitman just graced it. You know, it just flourished after the PS2 days. It just flourished. But Splinter Cell died. You know, I don't think there's been a good Splinter Cell game since Splinter Cell 2, because the rest of them were just awful. You know, like I said earlier in the video, I was never good at the stealth aspect of those games, but I was young, I was dumb, you know. These days, I know what I'm doing. You give me a sniper, and I can fucking take the shot from 1,000 yards away if the sniper will shoot that far. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. It's definitely safe to say that Hitman is most definitely making a return. And with IO Interactive actually sort of creating a new IP, really does tell us that they are wanting to go all out for this new game. They're wanting to try out new things. They're wanting to try out new systems. But one can only hope that because of this, they don't replace the voice actors, they don't replace the cast, and you know, they don't just completely reboot it all over again. You know, it can be called Hitman 3, but let's just hope that it's not Hitman 3 rebooted into Hitman 1, if you get what I mean with that, guys. But yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you enjoy the Hitman series? Are you looking forward to a new game in the Hitman series? Because I most certainly am. I'm actually thinking about doing a playthrough on the first Hitman game from the PS4. Just because I've still got it, so I figured why the hell not. I don't actually have Hitman 2 anymore. I got rid of Hitman 2. Don't know why. I think it's just because I finished it and platinumed it, so I thought, fuck it, I don't need it anymore. But if you guys want to see more, just let me know and I'll definitely do more. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Sorry it's a little bit shorter than usual, but that was literally all I could find regarding the next Hitman game. But anyway, I hope you have all enjoyed it, and I hope I've expanded your gaming knowledge and given you some details as to the future of this game. So stay tuned tomorrow, because we will be continuing on with our replacement to the Telltale game series. I'm going to be doing Days Gone because I missed out on a live stream on Wednesday, and it screwed up my entire schedule because YouTube wasn't working. So we're going to be doing Days Gone on Sunday now, just in place of any sort of zombie game. So we'll have Dead Rising 1 week, Days Gone 1 week, blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. So don't miss out on that. Just if you're new to the channel, don't hesitate to smash the like button and drop me a subscribe. I always sub back to new subscribers and view any content you may be producing. Speaking of, shout out to all subscribers, old and new. We are getting ever so close to that goal of 1k. We're now at 938. Let's see if we can get to 1k by the end of this year. So yeah, anyway, that being said, this has been Just the Facts with Gamerdude. Happy gaming, and I hope to catch you all in the next one, guys.